leading the way with important local coverage. You're watching WISN 12 News at 10.
Bullets whizzed by in this Waukesha County shootout. 25 years later, the prosecutor remembers the heroes of that day.
And to the Celtics fans who are celebrating and predicting a sweep.
Poor Celtics, man. We're coming back.
Faithful fans, the Bucks look to Game 2 after a double-digit loss at home.
If somebody needs my help, I'm there.
First, though, a beloved baker beating right outside of her shop. The thief tried taking a van donated to this well-known business owner less than 4 months ago. 12 News' Sarah Tamer talked to the victim's daughter today, who told her her mom did not deserve this.
I was finishing slicing ham, and all I heard was the horn honk. That's our universal sign to each other, hey, I need something, come to the car.
Courtney Clark describes the moments after her mom was attacked Sunday morning outside of their shop, Jen's Sweet Treats. She didn't want to go on camera, but she says calling 911 on what was supposed to be a typical Sunday has her shaken up.
I need an ambulance and I need cops now.
Police say they were called just before 8 Sunday morning near Jen's Sweet Treats, where someone attacked a 75-year-old man.
I was the one that called 911 because he was not feeling well.
Employees at Cudahy's Pancake House know the man well. They serve him every morning.
I need to drink a coffee or sometimes to eat breakfast.
Police say the 34-year-old suspect then attacked Jennifer Clark and tried to pull her out of her van.
Don't you cry.
A van she recently received from the community as a thank you for all the ways she gives back.
Horrible. Horrible. Sunday morning, broad daylight in Little Cudahy.
She's the sweetest lady out there, and will help anybody.
Jamin Ruckavina has known Jen for 5 years and helps her when she needs things fixed at the store. He says he was helping her put together a cake stand not long before she was attacked.
I left to get coffee, and on my way back is when I seen all the chaos happening. I try to help stop the guy from getting away.
Courtney says she and her mom want to focus on the 75-year-old victim who's being treated at the hospital. As for Jen, she'll likely be back at work Monday morning.
That's what Jen does.
Sarah Tamer reporting. Police took the suspect into custody. They say he also assaulted 2 other officers. He's now in the Milwaukee County Jail. Well, a tale of 2 very different days here in downtown Milwaukee, from late April snow on Saturday to finally some Sunday sunshine today. Live outside tonight over downtown Milwaukee. We are tracking a soggy start to your work week. Meteorologist Lindsay Slater here with us now. And Lindsay, we are talking rain, thankfully, and we are not talking snow anymore.
It's not frozen. It's not frozen precip, thank goodness, right? But yes, rain we can deal with at this point. So here's a live look at the Doppler 12 radar network right now. You see some of that rain starting to build into the south and west. Really shouldn't arrive until after 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So if that is your commute, just know it's going to be a soggy one. There's a lot of rain on the way, and this is just round 1. We're hopping aboard the rain train again, folks. We're going to see more rain on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, so just kind of get those umbrellas ready. You'll need them for much of this week. So over the next 12 hours, that rain will be arriving overnight, and it is going to be kind of a cold, blustery day out there with temperatures. Ben, I'm thinking they're just going to get into the mid and upper 40s at best, but that wind, if tomorrow's trash day for you, just maybe hunker down that trash can. The winds will be out of the southeast, 20 to 35 miles an hour.
I feel really horrible about the game today, but super excited for the next games. I think we'll come back. This should put a fire under their butt.
Here's the deal. It's a 7-game series. It's a 7-game series. I'm not worried. Giannis got it, man. We're going to crush it. We got this.
And they are truly the Bucks faithful. Fans vow not to give up after an ugly beatdown at home today. The Bucks lose Game 1 of the series against the Boston Celtics. 12 Sports' Stephanie Sutton here with us now. And Steph, this was just the 6th time all season that the Bucks' opponent held them to less than 100 points.
Yes, they definitely had kind of an off day, Ben. They sure didn't look like themselves today, especially the way they played at home all season long. The Bucks struggled in Game 1 of their playoff series against the Celtics. The Greek Freak didn't make his first field goal until the second quarter. The Celtics contain him. Al Horford with the big block there. Giannis finishes with just 22 points. Meanwhile, Boston's stars shine. Kyrie Irving finishes with a double-double, 26 points and 11 assists. It's a big three there before the half. Bucks only trailed 2 at the break, but Boston takes over in the second half. And you know it's not the Bucks' day when the opposing team dunks over Giannis. Jaylen Brown did just that in the fourth quarter. The Bucks beat down by the Celtics in Game 1. They fall 112-90. 12 Sports' Stephen Watson reports from Fiserv Forum.
Not a feeling Bucks fans are used to here at Fiserv Forum. They get outscored by 15 points in the third quarter and are never able to recover. The Celtics shoot 54% from the floor, holding the Bucks to just 35% shooting as the Celtics take Game 1.
The Celtics just came out, played hard, moved the ball, put more effort, put more energy into the game than us, and they're a great team. You know, that's what they're supposed to do.
Well, they hit us in the mouth. That was pretty surprising, but it's the playoffs, and you got to learn how to get hit and get back up. And I know this team very well, that we have a great group of guys that's super competitive. So I'm sure, you know, we took that punch, and we're going to come back Tuesday and figure it out and be ready to play.
Our group's character has always shown. This year, whenever we haven't played well or we've come off a loss, the response has always been very good. So we expect the same thing, the competitiveness of our group, the character of the group. This is when it's tested. This is when it shows.
Including the playoffs, the Bucks have now played 87 games this year. This is just the 6th time all season they've been held under 100 points scoring. Inside Fiserv Forum, Stephen Watson, WISN 12 News.
Thank you, Stephen. The good news, the Bucks have bounced back from losses all season. They only lost back-to-back games one time this year. And keep in mind, this is a 7-game series. It's just they're down 1-0 right now.
There's a lot of games left to play, thankfully, but it certainly wasn't the team we've normally seen at Fiserv Forum this year. All right, Steph, thanks. The Revenge Series continues on Tuesday night. Tip-off for Game 2 is set for 7 o'clock at Fiserv Forum. The series then moves to Boston for Games 3 and 4.
I promise at the end of 6 years I'll be very happy, but you're going to be left with the strongest country you've ever had. I promise you that.
That's President Trump assuring the crowd at his rally in Green Bay last night that he will serve 2 full terms. 12 News' Matt Smith reports Wisconsin will no doubt be a battleground state in 2020.
Every day between now and November 2020, we are going to keep on working. We are going to keep on fighting.
President Trump atop a prime piece of political real estate Saturday.
Hello, Green Bay. Thank you.
A critical part of Wisconsin that helped send him to the White House.
You joined our movement, the greatest movement in the history of our country.
In a state that will help determine if he stays. The president is facing a slew of Democratic hopefuls, a half-dozen who have already campaigned here.
I believe that there's no pathway to the nomination without going through this great state.
Now is the time to transform this country. Now is the time to win this election.
Democratic and independent voters are already targets. A year and a half until Election Day.
As a voter, have you made up your mind yet?
Oh, no.
42% of Wisconsinites say they'll definitely or probably vote to re-elect the president, according to a Marquette University Law School poll out this month. 46% say they definitely vote for someone else.
We got a lot of young people out there. You want to know the truth? I actually think we have more than they do. Who knows?
The president won Wisconsin in 2016 by less than 1% of the vote. A clear indication of what's at stake for both sides. In Ishwabanon, I'm Matt Smith, WISN 12 News.
Dozens of Latino-owned businesses in Milwaukee will close on Wednesday, and workers at many more won't come in as scheduled. Adrienne Pedersen has the story tonight on Upfront.
Immigrants and immigrants' rights advocates plan to show up in force at the state capitol on Wednesday. It's the annual Day Without Latinos and Immigrants, and it's drawn huge numbers of people in years past. Tonight on Upfront, we'll see what's expected this year and look at an issue key for the immigrant community, getting state-issued driver's licenses. Plus, Democrats pushing for health care coverage for more low-income residents. I'll ask how they plan to convince the Republican-led legislature. And the state of state parks. The parks started self-funding a few years ago. Tonight, how that's working and why the governor wants to give parks a little more money. It's all coming up tonight at 11 o'clock right here on Upfront.
People in Milwaukee honored the memory of those who died on the job. Today is Workers' Memorial Day. Union members gathered to remember those who have lost their lives at work from accidents or illness. The Wisconsin AFL-CIO says 106 workers were killed in Wisconsin in 2017.
We believe that everybody has a right to have safe working conditions, and they deserve the right to go home at night. You know, they're there to do a job. They should be able to do it safely, and we should be there to help them accomplish that.
Two recent cases in our area. Milwaukee DPW worker Brian Rodriguez, he died in a hit-and-run crash as he filled potholes in February. And Anthony Azarian, who died in March after authorities say he fell 7 stories at a Milwaukee construction site. Smartphone shutdown. 12 News reporter Kent Wainscott asks a provocative question. How long could you live without yours?
Could you lock your cell phone away for days?
What if I forget a password? What do I do? You read about it, you hear about it, because you're always on your phone reading that and hearing it.
You'll actually have to speak to people.
Yeah, it's going to be weird.
How long could you go without your cell phone? And what would you miss most if you gave it up? The eye-opening experiment that surprised even the people who took the test.
It's going to be weird. See the results in Kent Wainscott's report. Smartphone shutdown tomorrow night on 12 News at 10. Well, it was one wild Wisconsin police gun battle, and 12 News, a 12 News crew was caught in the crossfire. The Oswald shootout with police 25 years later, and the man who prosecuted the case. Plus, the California synagogue shooting and the TV icon in Milwaukee who says this country has a problem.
And from sunshine to showers, rain is on the way. When it starts and how much we could actually get this week, that's ahead in Weather Watch 12.
Watch Ellen and you could win a Lake Lawn Resort vacation. Tomorrow at 4, catch the secret word during Ellen. Enter the word on the WISN 12 News app. Daily prize, a 2-night getaway to Lake Lawn Resort. Watch Ellen on WISN 12 to win. Smartphone shutdown. Could you function 2 days without yours?
Cell phones are taking over our lives.
See the experiment putting people to the test.
Oh my gosh, I'm missing something.
The one thing they couldn't live without.
Monday on 12 News at
retailer in Southeast Wisconsin. The more we sell, the more you save. WildAuto.com.
Today marks 25 years since one of the most infamous crimes in southeastern Wisconsin. 2 fugitives held up a Waukesha County bank, killed a police officer, and took a hostage before crashing a van during a shootout. And a 12 News crew was in the middle as the bullets flew. Tonight we speak with the man who prosecuted what he calls the case of his life. April 28th, 1994. 12 News crew was behind the secured perimeter as father and son fugitives James and Ted Oswald traded bullets with police. The Oswalds had killed Waukesha Police Captain James Lutz and taken a hostage before their crime spree ended in dramatic fashion.
I remember them all. I don't forget a homicide, a murder. But that one, I remember like it was yesterday.
Former Waukesha County District Attorney Paul Bucher prosecuted the case. He was at the scene 25 years ago as 2 other police officers were shot but survived.
I have, one hero in my life, that was my mom, but after the Oswald case, all of those coppers were my heroes. I just cannot believe they stood their ground and fired back.
Bucher vividly recalls the scene that day and the hours of work it took to bring the case to trial with multiple crime scenes.
It was certainly the case of the century for me and of my lifetime, and I hope to God that we never see anything like that again.
And while the images of that day are among Waukesha County's darkest, Bucher also remembers the dedicated team that brought the 2 fugitives to justice.
Looking back, I was proud to be a part of it, I can tell you that.
And the Oswalds are both serving life sentences in separate Wisconsin prisons. In Baltimore today, a cookout shootout left 6 people hurt and at least 1 dead. Police say the gunman fired randomly into the crowd. There's a manhunt underway right now. The shooting happened across the street from a church. Houses of worship are already on alert after yesterday's deadly synagogue shooting in California. The woman who died was there to mourn her mother, and police say she jumped between the shooter and the rabbi.
Lori took the bullet for all of us. She died to protect all of us. She didn't deserve to die. She's such a kind, sweet-hearted, just a good human being.
The 19-year-old suspect in that shooting is in custody.
I don't know how many more mass killings it's going to take to get our Congress off its ass and recognize that we have a problem in this country of killing people we don't like.
That's TV icon Ed Asner reacting to the synagogue shooting. He's in Milwaukee playing a Holocaust survivor in a concert reading of The Soap Myth, a play that grapples with Holocaust deniers and anti-Semitism. Asner, of course, is best known for his role as Lou Grant on The Mary Tyler Moore Show. The reading is open to the public and begins at 7 p.m. tomorrow at Congregation Shalom in Fox Point. It's part of a partnership with the Holocaust Education Resource Center. And in Virginia, crews pulled 5 men trapped from a cave. Investigators say they went to camp overnight, but heavy rain saturated the cave, making it impossible to get out on their own. Rescuers say the men suffered from fatigue and from hypothermia. Turning now to our Weather Watch 12 forecast here with meteorologist Lindsay Slater. Lindsay, rain is coming in this week. We could see quite a bit of it, too.
You know, but the reason I think that we're smiling is that we know it's not snow.
Correct.
You know, so
yes.
I think we'll take the rain. You have the tide for rain. It's green. You know, that is what the radar is going to look like. It's not going to be blue. So that's good. I want to show you this really cool time lapse here from Franklin. And you can see that the snow melts from Franklin. Just, you know, the day started good, and then you can see a lot of the sunshine out there. Just melted the whole thing up. But I will tell you, folks, we are looking pretty good for the rest of the work week. So as we move along through time, here's a look at spring in Wisconsin. 38 degrees yesterday, and then today, 50 degrees. Can you believe that? 50 degrees. We had sunshine. We had beautiful temperatures out there. So let's take a look here at our Brookfield camera. 42 degrees. And, you know, at this point, Ben, I'm going to toss it back to you just here for a moment. My microphone is acting up, so we're just going to go ahead and fix that. But I'll be right back with the rest of your forecast.
This is certainly live TV. All right, Lindsay, we'll talk to you here in just a minute. I want to go now to our Person of the Week, and we want to remember one of Milwaukee's best-known restaurateurs. Joe Bartolotta died Monday at the age of 60. He co-owned the Bartolotta Restaurant Group, including Ristorante Bartolotta, Lake Park Bistro, and the Rumpus Room, along with Bacchus. 12 News last spoke with him just about a month ago about Milwaukee being in the spotlight during next year's Democratic National Convention.
I surely don't want to hang our hat on cheese curds and brats. We are so much better than that, and we will be so much better than that. And our restaurant scene is vibrant as any other scene in the country. And it's time we got discovered.
He was certainly an ambassador for Milwaukee. The city gathered to celebrate Bartolotta's life this weekend, remembering his donations and his commitments to places like the Italian Community Center and to the Wisconsin Humane Society. He will be certainly missed. All right, Lindsay's mic is working once again. We want to send it back to her for the rest of your Weather Watch 12 forecast.
I know. You know, that's what happens sometimes, guys. All right, so let's talk about what's happening right now. 42 degrees in Brookfield. So far, things are looking good. I'm still thinking about that time lapse, though, of all the snow melting. You kind of almost forgot that it snowed yesterday. 41 degrees right now in Milwaukee. So as you're heading out the door tomorrow, just know it is going to be a rainy start. It's going to feel like 31 degrees. So don't forget the rain boots, the galoshes, the umbrellas, the coats. Temperatures will be near 39 degrees, and it's going to be pretty windy, too. The winds are going to be gusting off the lake out of the southeast between 15 and 30 miles an hour throughout the day. Umbrellas definitely needed. We're going to stay soggy all morning long. The good news is it'll taper off before that evening commute. So if you have plans later on in the day or you don't really want to have to worry about the windshield wipers and the headlights later in the afternoon, you should be good to go at that point. So let's take you to Futurecast here. And you can see here's where that rain is going to be building in around, I think, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So nothing here for at least the next couple of hours. But look at that wind really kicking off the lake here. So that's what's going to make it kind of a cold, it's going to be kind of a crummy day. But again, let's just think about the positives. It's not snow, and you still need your headlights, so I know it's just rain, but a lot of people seem to forget that, so don't forget. 5:30 in the morning, that's kind of when we're in the thick of it. You can see some of the moderate rain bands here happening in areas in Lake Geneva and Racine, so that yellow color here shows the moderate rainfall. The light and darker green just shows kind of the light rainfall basically overall. By 11:30 in the morning, that's when things are starting to taper off a little bit. And by the lunch hour, most of the area to the west is going to be clear. And then by 5 o'clock, you're good to go for that evening commute, but it's still going to be breezy. Unfortunately, we're not completely done. Look at this. Your trash can may be in your neighbor's yard by tomorrow afternoon because of those winds gusting, and we still have more rain on the way. So if you didn't mow today, you kind of lost your opportunity. It's not going to come back until possibly Friday. Friday is going to be the pick day of the week. That's when things start to dry out, but we're definitely aboard the rain train. Here's that second round coming in on Tuesday. Tuesday more soggy than Monday, and then we'll see this whole system exiting Wednesday morning, get a little bit of a break, and then a little bit more rain on Thursday. In some areas, I think over the next few days could see 1 to 2 inches of rain. That also could spell out some flooding on some rivers and streams. We're going to keep an eye on it because the ground is pretty saturated after all that snow that we had. So, and we are going to be above average for the next week and a half. The good news is that eventually, not next week, but eventually, you see that pink over here to the west, we'll see those temperatures really start to kick up. It's going to take a little bit of time, though. So your Brewers forecast for tomorrow, 44 degrees at tailgate. It'll feel like 39. The rain should be done by this point. By 9th inning, 41 degrees. A little chilly out there. And your Weather Watch 12-week ahead forecast does feature, again, soggy start to the work week. We'll start to taper things off by Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, definitely the pick day out there, 57 degrees on Friday. 60s return for next weekend. Now, technically, yeah, there are some chances of rain next weekend. But honestly, by the time we get to next weekend, the forecast will change. That's what always happens.
That's what always happens.
It's true, though. I mean, it looks like rain, but it may go out early enough where Saturday, Sunday may be great. So.
Okay, and that's what we're hoping for.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Lindsay. Box office bonanza. We knew Avengers Endgame would be big hit this weekend, but the numbers are in, and it is shattering records. Also ahead, Giannis and the Bucks off to a bad start in the series against the Celtics. Stephanie Sutton and Stephen Watson have
Menards.
The Boston Celtics did not fear the deer today in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Instead, the Bucks had an off day at home and now trail 1-0 in this best-of-7 series. A game you saw right here on WISN 12. Giannis was fired up, but the Celtics stole the show. Kyrie Irving with the fadeaway jumper, Boston in front. And the Celtics contained the Greek Freak. He was off in the first quarter and misses the jumper, only 9 points in the first half. Bucks go on a big run in the second quarter. Nico Mirotic dials long distance and buries a three. Bucks down by 1. He had 9 points in the first half, but Boston regains the lead before the break. Irving with the three-pointer. He finishes with a double-double, 26 points and 11 assists. Bucks trailed 2 at the break and did retake the lead in the third quarter. Brook Lopez hits the three-pointer. However, the Celtics looked right at home in Milwaukee. Al Horford with a catch and release knocks down the three. He also finishes with a double-double, 20 points and 11 rebounds. Giannis unleashes a slam dunk in the third quarter, but does not seem himself today, only at 22 points. And then watch this. Jaylen Brown dunks over the Greek Freak. Yikes, not good. The Bucks lose Game 1, 112-90. 12 Sports' Stephen Watson reports from Fiserv Forum.
Giannis was the only player in the NBA to score 30 or more points in every game against the Celtics this year during the regular season. But in Game 1 of the playoffs against the Celtics, he was the one that looked like a deer in headlights as the Bucks MVP. Giannis was held to just 7 of 21 shooting from the floor as Al Horford and the Boston defense getting the better of the Greek Freak.
We've played against each other a lot of times. He knows that, my moves, and it's easier to guard when you can send me one way and the help's coming the other way. So, but I think overall they did a great job, guarding, and especially in Horford. If they're going to play like this the whole series, I got to be able to make the right pass and trust my teammate to knock down shots.
Giannis, as great as he's been this year, he hasn't been perfect every night. He's hard on himself, so there's probably some point I'm just going to put my arms around him and tell him, you're going to be great. We'll work. We'll look at some things between now and Tuesday, and I'm sure he's looking forward to Tuesday just like we are.
Giannis not the only one to struggle in this game. The Bucks as a team shot 35%, and in that starting lineup, Eric Bledsoe, Brook Lopez, and Sterling Brown combined for just 12 points. Inside Fiserv Forum, Stephen Watson, WISN 12 Sports.
Thank you, Stephen. It was also a bad day for the Brewers in the Big Apple. Coming up in our second half hour, how they lost the series finale to the Mets, plus an injury update on Christian Yelich, who left the game early. We'll hear from manager Craig Counsell. Fortunately, the Brewers return home tomorrow night against the Colorado Rockies.
Hey, some good news in the sports department.
Yeah, and the Wave did win.
They did. All right, thank you, Steph. A nationwide measles outbreak and the risk to Wisconsin. Next here at 10, the vaccination rate experts say the state needs to stop the spread. And later, home of the Hulk. The Avengers film star's father living right here in southeastern Wisconsin, and how he says his family stays grounded.
Big 12 Sports chasing a championship. Tuesday at 6:30 on WISN 12. Leading the way with important local coverage. You're watching WISN 12 News at 10.
The president's Saturday night rally in Green Bay was the first since the redacted Mueller report's release and Joe Biden entering the 2020 race. 12 News' Matt Pritchard reports on how the president is positioning himself for re-election.
President Trump wasted no time Saturday.
Radical, liberal Democrats put all their hopes behind their collusion delusion.
Just over a week after the release of the redacted Mueller report, the commander-in-chief declaring victory.
The Democrats, those very friendly people in Washington, have never been angrier than they are today.
Then pivoting to the list of contenders vying to take him on in 2020.
Sleepy Joe, Crazy Bernie. You look at the candidates, right? I think Pocahontas, she's finished, she's out.
The president making it clear he's undeterred by the challenge the pack of 20 Democratic candidates brings.
Every day between now and November 2020, we are going to keep on working, we are going to keep on fighting, and we are going to keep on winning, winning, winning.
And meanwhile, back in Washington, the White House Correspondents' Dinner pressed on without the president for a third straight year.
The press is a powerful weapon that must always be fired with reluctance and aimed with precision.
In absence, the president touted in Green Bay, bringing Press Secretary Sarah Sanders, a target of last year's Correspondents' Dinner comedian, on stage.
They've questioned him at every step, and he's proven them wrong every single time because of all of you. Thank you, Mr. President, for leading our country.
The president also spoke of strong economic numbers, as well as trade negotiations with China and the importance of passing the USMCA agreement through Congress. In Washington, I'm Matt Pritchard reporting.
Democrats also held their own rally for the people in Green Bay Saturday. Democratic Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes said the party needs to continue the momentum that put him and Governor Tony Evers in office.
We talked about our positive vision for the state of Wisconsin. That meant protecting our environment, it meant investing in education, it meant expanding health care. And we have to continue to hit on those issues until we get to where we need to be as a state and as a country.
Commitment 2020 coverage continues now on WISN.com. That's where you can watch President Trump's entire Wisconsin speech. Meteorologist Lindsay Slater joining us now here with Weather Watch 12. Lindsay, thankfully we are done with the snow for now, we hope, until next winter. Now we are tracking just a soggy start to the week.
It is. It's soggy. It's going to be windy to begin the work week. But again, at least we're not talking snow. We're too warm for that. Temperatures right now are hovering close to 40 degrees right now. But that wind is going to be off the lake starting basically now all the way through Monday, 20 to 30 miles an hour. And it's out of the southeast to start. So it is going to be kind of a cold, raw, blustery day out there. You can see all this rain here and even a little bit of lightning out there in Iowa right now. This is the system that's heading in our direction. And it should be arriving right around 4 a.m. or so. So your morning commute, yeah, it's going to be pretty wet. Don't forget your headlights, windshield wipers. Make sure all that works before you leave home. And noticing this is only going to be lasting through about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. By 4 o'clock, things start to dry out. It's still going to be windy. It's still going to be in the low 40s at this point. Normally this time of the year, we should be close to 60. So yeah, it is a cooler start to the work week. And if you're going to the Brewer game, I got the right logo on this time, the Rockies, not the Dodgers. But noticing, though, tailgate is going to feel like 39 degrees. And by ninth inning here, it is going to be a pretty chilly out there. That wind won't really stop. But, Ben, we are going to have another round of rain on Tuesday, early Wednesday, early Thursday, possibly early Saturday. So we're hopping aboard the rain train this week.
And it is going to be a roof closed kind of a night at Miller Park. All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Lindsay. Well, right now, the number of nationwide measles cases is at a 25-year high. More than 600 cases confirmed in 21 states. The head of Wisconsin's Department of Health Services says on average, 89% of 2-year-olds in Wisconsin are vaccinated. To stop the spread, communities generally need about a 95% vaccination rate.
It's a plane ride away. It's a kid going to summer camp and coming home who's been exposed. There are lots of ways where if you live in a community that does not have a high vaccination rate, you are much more at risk for contracting the disease.
Secretary Palm says 9 in 10 people who are not immune can get the measles if they come into contact with it. The CDC also says if you were born between 1963 and 1989, you may want to talk to your doctor about getting another measles booster. That's because between 63 and 67, an ineffective killed virus was used. And after that, many people didn't receive a second booster. This doesn't necessarily mean older adults are at risk. A doctor would be able to test antibodies to determine if another shot is required. Box office bonanza. Avengers Endgame opening weekend shatters the record as the biggest ever.
Where's the Avengers? We gotta finish this.
So, here are the numbers. $350 million in North American ticket sales, and get this, $1.2 billion globally. A record 4,600 theaters opened the movie, and Endgame is the fastest movie to ever hit the $350 million mark. And did you know the actor who plays the Hulk is from right here in southeastern Wisconsin? 12 News' Kent Wainscott went to the home of the Hulk in Kenosha earlier this week and talked to the film star's father.
This all seems horrible.
He is one of the most recognizable characters in film. But Mark Ruffalo, the acclaimed actor behind the Hulk,
The attack on New York, that's him.
is just a hometown guy from Kenosha.
Mr. Ruffalo, I'm Kent Wainscott.
I caught up with the film star's father just hours before the opening of one of his son's most high-profile movies, reprising his iconic character.
I appreciate the notoriety that comes to me because I'm his father, but really outside of that, he's a grounded guy, so he keeps me grounded,
This movie may be the biggest of them all, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what they say. He's done a lot of films before that, but many people never even heard of him until he got that role. I'm always angry.
Hulk once walked these halls. Mark Ruffalo attended Lance Middle School when he was about the same age as a lot of his fans who live in his old neighborhood.
His character has been struggling with turning into the Hulk because he's afraid that he won't be able to come back from the Hulk.
13-year-old Enzo Aiello is a big fan of the Hulk and still marvels at the fact that he and Mark Ruffalo went to the same school.
So when you see him on screen, do you think, hey, he grew up in my neighborhood?
Yeah, all the time. I'm like, wow, that guy? He's from our neighborhood. That's pretty cool.
As for the actor's dad, he says his son loves to do independent films, but there's something about the big blockbusters like Avengers Endgame and the Hulk.
Well, there's more money in the Hulk than there is in independent movies, that's for sure.
That's Kent Wainscott reporting. Frank says he's even been behind the scenes with his son, but he says he may wait until the initial frenzy dies down just a bit to see Avengers Endgame. Not a bad idea. Well, the Bucks are the other big show in town. Next here at 10, the fan who's been watching from the stands for 4 decades and why he's so devoted to the team.
See more of the local stories important to you with the WISN 12 News app. Download right now.